I'm gonna so enjoy this. Not only was the girl hated, but Disneyland went through what we call decades, lives on her crab to crabby crawlies, little crawlings after the Hague, below the very spin ground. Not only was there connected dots for white balls in the 80 countries, unless you want to say 81 in the US, speaking about the losses that had happened on the ghost lines that you didn't admit because, well, your Nobel Prizes, your post-apocalypse, your PhDs, and your limo fucking Lamborghinis couldn't reopen that shit on the ghost lines. And you could see it careening from China. You see, the reason the German airspace and Woolwich's and the Italians and others are rubbing it in on the coastlines with 221 July 20th, 21st century is simple. They're showing to the Americans that the spectators of the show who were incapable of July 20th, 21st century, so a girl like that have her head smashed in on the ghost lines, a la Dirk Van Damme style, come back as Disneyland, a particular corn cob with the eyebrows, the only thing in common with the original Jamila, and then send their cheerleaders with psychos while the other girls with boys were cheerleading to see her die. This is the US. That's why you have the Dr. Barrett Schadenfreude Jr.'s extra paperwork for me. I'm Disneyland. Whether I die or live, the show on the ghost line stays empty, and it will get emptier. Why? Because if you know that there was a ship, the Manhattan Project of the 21st century of that girl, once it's gone forever. When it's gone forever, it means that the intel that was working with her is gone forever. With me, as a pin-up. That's why they call her the mermaid. That's why they call her the pin-up. Now, the pretenses are obviously American. They hate the intel. The ship left, the Manhattan Project of the 21st century. The scientists left with me. Sorry, after the Hague on your own soil. You don't know what happened on your own soil because it's old news. You do not know that Russia is black, mere. Saudi Arabia is black, mere, very expensive, the greys on the borders. Egypt and Poland is pink intelligence. If you want to speak about color coding, the strength of the intel that they lost on the coastlines. Call that strength, call that level of science, call that level of technology, call it whatever the fuck you want. In other words, not a cheap-ass DART mission. Don't cry for me, Argentina, you killed me, but hey, you cried for your DART mission because he's Jewish, but you didn't cry for me. So I'm Disney. When you started sending your psycho stalkers, we expected that. My crab, after the Hague, was strong. So I resisted. But afterwards, crab just became crabby. That's connected those two wise to globals. The 9 they show on the ghost lines are stupid. You're not Iran on the ghost lines. No. And you're Iran and Fresno. You are just a joke. So that is why even the flatfoots, not FBI, Interpol, Scotland Yard, the nails, and so forth, because they know that damn old news on the news. They know I'm the stand-in child. They know that I'm a particular corn cob and pig. They know the only thing I have in common with the original Jamila is the eyebrows. They know that. The nails and everything. Trying to explain. You see, the psych ward in Fresno never kept me long because the FBI or others would take me out. And because they were being sued. Because they could have killed me there. They could have killed me anywhere in California. As Disneyland. And when I got to DC, once again, on my crawlies, little crawlies, on the East Coast, Disneyland's alive! And there was this big brouhaha that, oh my God, they didn't kill Disneyland for fun, Schadenfreude Jr. In other words, the number Delph is the nome di Vato Delph. And Delph means intelligence. They call them Delphis. Now that I'm Russian and Saudi, and I'll go, sitting there and looking at me like if I'm some freak, when in fact you are freaks. I grew up in genetic schools knowing fully well in the UN, Vanessa with E.T. fingers, Kirkland with exceptionally long legs. We're not going to go into proportions here. And we know what those schools are about. Dun, da, 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 in and out. We call them the cover children. Okay. Kirkland's sister Annika died of cancer. She was albino. Well, she was very blonde. And they blamed me. They said, you shouldn't be in the school at the age of, well, if you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, we're going to blame children for blaming you for this shit. You're the Greys and Blacks. You were July 20th, 21st century. Your head was smashed in. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be a genetic stand-in. They shouldn't have made genetics out of you after smashing your head in on the coastlines. That's just not normal. And I'm looking at them as like, yeah, I agree with you. And you do Pinks. Pinks is like Poland and Egypt with cancer and the cancer corporations that you knew in the UN and Europe and Western Europe and London at the university at the age of 15. 15. Free college. High school with presidents. Free. Why? Delph. So, don't compare your elites in Russia and Saudi Arabia or German airspace or UN with your own shit on the coastlines. Because that was hate. It's gone with the wind, angels. All news on the news, the nail. And that's why they're rubbing it in through Disneyland. You don't understand that on the mountains of that library in D.C., defending the barons was Laura Quint, who was born in the same hospital in Rome, and she's Supreme Court. She's a judge. She's not just a special counsel. She's like a justice herself. One word from Laura Quint, and the whole fucking Justice Department in D.C. goes, yep. Well, I was born in the same hospital as her in Rome. Elementary, primary, middle, and high school. For her, my best friend. Now, California is California. But you can't make a scrambled egg of me after the Hague, put her up as a pin-up girl stand-in, say, oh, she became a crab, the crabby, and oh, look what the shit was lost on the coastlines and send your psychos. You did that on purpose. The problem with you is you don't know what the fuck you lost on your own soil, on your coastlines. And believe me, when they said the Manhattan Project of the 21st century, they were not fucking kidding on the coastlines. The problem is you deny. Yeah? So going back to the mountains, a lot of flyings of that girl, a lot of motherfucking runnings on the hills, that many motherfucking flyings. No one said anything on the flyings. 92, 92 and above. Showing the coastlines elsewhere safe. No worries. Then come the hills. Yeah? All those runnings on those hills. Like mad. I wasn't mad. I might be mad now. As Disneyland. And I do all the runnings on the hills. Yeah? And why do I say I? Because I'm the stand-in for that girl fucker after you hit the roof of the library on the hills. Then comes Crab. Crab is still on the hills. It's still behind the library. And it goes down some steps to the back of the library and stops on the ground. At the back of the library. As in, on the side back. And the third one. But the second one of the mother on the hills hits the roof. The third one for the mother is on the side on a little alley because they get her out to Poland to Russia with the rule of law of Natalie Direct. So the fake obituary at the age of 80 of the mother, she didn't have dementia. They just took her. You see, Sonia Roach and Jennifer Segura, the wingmen of Tom and Jerry Dire Towels, who were prison guards on the county level of Fresno, because Fresno has still said that they're federal. Fresno still claims, Tom and Jerry Dire Towels, that he's fucking federal. Tom and Jerry Dire Towels is a scumbag in a private county in the middle of the desert who thinks he runs the show. Tom and Jerry Dire Towels, who became Tom and Jerry Dyer, what he was of a small county that doesn't have a federal prison, doesn't have a state prison, it's a county level. I always have been like that on all those flyings, on all those runnings, and all my crawlies. Now that you send your psychos who are from LA, federal prisoners who were born in Fresno, to follow me to San Francisco, and try to do some psych shit on me while the others are looking, it tells me that you're not only not serious, you're losers. People spoke about female jealousy. People spoke about envies, colloquially, in 81 countries ever since I had that accident. Diana on the coastlines and became Camilla with white hairs, the replacement child in Disneyland. It doesn't make a fucking difference. You are not the intel on the coastlines. You're obviously not the parents in Fresno retirements. And your verbal vitriol, your faces, your ugliness comes from the fact that you will never reopen that shit that you hate on the coastlines. Advanced tech, advanced science, not cancer. Cancer was pink. And if you still don't know that from Julieta Novoa, mass media in Brussels, who was the Colombian girl in elementary primary schools who worked in Brussels in mass media with that radio, then I'm telling you this is old news on the news. Connect the dots worldwide to globals in those 81 countries. So if you're doing all those connected dots, and I'm now 51, 52 basically, that's over 11 years out of Fresno on my crawlies, literal crawlies, okay? And I'll tell you, I don't really think, you see, a flatfoot abroad, what they think of you, they think you're crazy. They know the skull is a stand-in. They see your abuse. They just think you are beyond bitches. You're not even doing your job as cops, as flatfoot. And you complain about the FBI, and you complain about science is lost on the coastlines. We can't even fix that shit, let alone whittle it. And that's the old news on the news for the stand-in. And that's not mentioning the father and the mother in Fresno on retirement. I'm supposed to be the pink trained poodle, or what they call the pink thingy, a Tasmanian devil, a particular corn cob in pink. Even in the gym, Rosalba's pista, 2 accidents on the right ankle and Middle Earth, on the left knee in northern Italy with the locust, the ligament. Every tick possible. Even as a child, I could train 6-8 hours a day in the reserves of the Olympics in Western Europe after the smashed and had on the coastlines. But I do it for health. When they said I was the Elena Muhina of intelligence, they were not saying that I was the Elena Muhina of Olympic gymnastics. They said I was the flowered child, Helen, flowered child, eventually, on the coastlines. So when they say that there's a problem on the coastlines, it's your fucking problem. You lost it. You had it on the flyings on the mountains, and you had it on the runnings. Eventually, what happened? You smashed it on the coastlines because you see it careening from fucking China. Then you have pretenses doing your PhDs in college, watching spectators of the show. Then you take it out on Disneyland. You know what the rest of the world actually thinks of you, US? That you lost that kind of science on the coastlines with the Manhattan Project of the 21st century. You have Disneyland telling you that, and you send your fucking psychos. US, I already saw Saturn and came back from the devil. Shit, they're rubbing it in with the Hague and the Bureau de Veritas and the pin-up girl. Why do you think I came back in this format? For your entertainment? That's why. Now, in those 80 countries connected to worldwide to globals, could even say some of 81 in the US, you have people who are normal, quote unquote, who are not malicious, who are not bitches, not whores, not assholes, not criminals, not malicious, okay, not jealous, not envious, who are just fucking swearing up and down that they want to bomb Fresno for the parents, and fucked up do know who knows what on the coastlines. But that's old news on the news. They can't fix it well, then, those assholes. And to me, it's almost like the entire communities have a sense of humor. Because if they bring back Disneyland as a pin-up girl, get to the Marilyn Monroe. Here we're speaking about some fucked up shit. Because if you smash the head in of Russian Mir, or Saudi Mir, or German Mir, or UN Mir, with a ship to yacht to Manhattan Project 21st century, you don't bring back pink or blues, but they did with me. Which means it was exactly what they said it was, July the 20th, 21st. You can trash me, you can spit on me, you can do whatever. At the end, we will sue you even for that. That is why, other than already Dirk-Jan van Dam, The Hague, and the Bureau de Veritas pin-up girl, we have the European Federal Tribunal, German, the Polish, the English, and the Italians, with what we call the Dr. Parrots, which we call Schadenfreude Juniors. Schadenfreude Juniors simply means people who enjoy giving pain to others. That's what it means. Middle school, sadomaso, meaning people who are animals, the zoo, Welcome to the zoo after the head smashed in on the Ghost Eyes pin-up Disney. So when you speak about Delph and the radio was invented 250 years ago and that's gone with the wind, all news on the news and yours, what can I fucking do about it? And now we have some genetics, the end of the world genetics, when we got to that point. After the smashed in head on the Ghost Lines. What the fuck you lost on the Ghost Lines was not a Dark Missioner. Or even 20 or 100 Dark Missioners. You lost much more. So this is the pin-up girl for that. So, again, that's the reason I came back in this format. In and out, Disneyland. That's it. I'm not being bitchy to you. I'm telling you, you are more than being bitchy to me. You got to the level of horse and cheerleaders to kill me. And you think those guys think, after some time, grab to grab eat. I stopped caring. Lies not lies, stalkers not stalkers, follow me even abroad. They got paperwork even abroad for that. Look who you are. You don't realize your country's going to pay. Even if it happens here. Why? Because of your shithole Chinese. I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to watch you cheerlead me to death. And then I'll sue you billions just for Disneyland. Because you're fucking animals. And that's why they call you the fucking zoo for Disneyland. And the reason I came back for that blimp in time was to show you what the fuck you lost with the Hague on the coastlines of science. And corporations. Because I didn't do pink cancer. I did grays and blacks. You're cheap ass. When I say you're cheap ass, I can say it after I saw Satana on the coastlines with a smashed in head on the coastlines. I am the stand-in child. You're cowards and you're fucking bitches. And that's the least I can say about you. Even with your psycho cheerleaders in Frisco, Fresno. Including your stalkers. It's not a question that it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Now I realize what you are made of. Nothing. You're made of nothing. You're made of shit. You're born from shit. You remain shit. You're born from shit, you go back to federal prison to San Quentin, and you don't come out. You're born from shit, keep taking your fucking fentanyl. You're born from shit and limousines, you can have 10 PhDs, you won't fucking change shit on the coastlines. You have a Nobel Prize? Fix the shit on the coastlines. Because whittling is easy. You can't whittle? Not even that. Because you can't fix. So you want to fix Disneyland? With your psycho stalkers? Your buddies. What is that? A buddy? You don't even qualify for the trash on the street. The homeless are better than fucking you. The reason you're stalked? Greyhound? Forrest Gump? Everyone knows why you're doing it. With your cheerleaders. Oh, federal paperwork in Europe. More. They're suing you for everything now, even for Disneyland. Because as long as you can't fix that show on the Ghost Lines, they'll sue you for the stand-in. And the reason you're doing this shit is because you're assholes. Plain and simple. It's not a question that you were in federal prison or not. Your intel is paying big time for the Manhattan Project of the 21st century without me. I was the leader, and I was female. Now, as they say, I'm a cat, I'm a dog, I'm a stand-in, I'm a eat, I'm whore of Babylon, whatever you want to call it with your cheerleaders. I don't give a shit. My parents are more important than a dead girl on the coastline. I'm the stand-in child. I'm the replacement. I'm not even a blues if they exist. Where they are? Where are they? Where are these blues after the smashing out on the coastlines? Show them to me. You saw them in Korea, you saw them in Europe, you saw them in Russia, Poland, Saudi, Egypt, you saw them a little in Rome, you saw them in London. Those internationals. Where else? So a shadow of them on the East Coast. You ain't gonna see them in California. After smashing somebody's head on the coastlines from intelligence perspective, the religious perspective, it's almost impossible to bring back somebody from the dead from The Hague. Making a particular corn cob in pink is one thing. Blues? I thought you were geniuses with your PhDs. Now that's why the Germans and the Chinese and the UN were speaking about history lost on the coastlines. Manhattan Project of the 21st century, Pin-Up Girl, July the 20th of the 21st century. Laika, the little dog that went to space. The first dog that went into outer space. Laika. Still, taking it out on Disneyland, yeah? And they speak about backward country. That's why they're speaking about move forward. Move forward. In Rome and London and Germany and Washington Nationals and Russia and Arabia and Asia, everywhere they're sticking their head out forward. In the East Coast, forward. And what's this thing between East Coast and West Coast with a scrambled egg and pink, Forrest Gump? What's that? Huh? The zoo? You know when they say do your job and you don't give a shit? They're suing you and you're still not doing your job. As long as you feel special yourself. You need to feel that you're better than others. That's not how Intel works. You may have noticed on all the flyings and the work on the Ghost Lines and elsewhere, defending the parents in Fresno retirements, on all those motherfucking runnings that many motherfucking times on the hills. There's no such thing as ego. There's an aim. My aim was not to have my head smashed in on the Ghost Lines and come back as Disneyland. But then again, that maybe was your aim. To lose it on the Ghost Lines, eh? There goes burning it down. So they say, they're considering that I'm not myself in Disneyland, that there is Radio Globo at Free High School. The kids, Daniela and Bruno, as in Bruno the ass on the Ghost Lines. That's just a piece of shit. Ass. And that's the old news on the news gone with the wind around the world. Connected those who wise to go bots with me. So instead of showing that you are thinking, even just thinking, you send out your, I'm going to analyze this. This is who you are. Between Fresno and Frisco, what you sent to Frisco. You allowed it to come to Frisco. That's why they were saying spectators of the show on the flyings and the runnings, and still spectators of the show with Disneyland. And there are people out there, you're going to live. Yeah. So that's why they call you retarded. It's not a question that I'm a genius anymore, because I'm not the same girl. I'm just telling you what's going around. Connected those who watch the group bars many motherfucking times on my cruelest and little cruelest. And that's just for the Ghost Lines. Again, that's not Fresno's heightened, beautiful, tits and ass intelligence. Their girlfriends who are not worth anything. And when I say they're not worth anything, I'll tell you why. In the Intel communities, and I will repeat that, any man knows that. Anybody with a 5X bra, anybody with a tattoo is not Intel. The mariners, they could be soldiers, they could be anything, they could be military intel, they could be bullies on this and that, but anybody with any sign on their body, like a tattoo, they're just not Intel. It's unfortunate that they have this classical concept still in Intel, that they prefer normality, that they prefer decency. In some levels, the higher the intel, the more decent it tries to be, especially if it's a space tech and science and technology and even corporate. You have to be very careful with that shit. If you smash the leader's head on the Ghost Lines, they'll leave with her. What's your point? You still complain about that because I hate your ass, hoping that shit's going to change if you hate Disneyland. You're the cancer. Even the pinks will tell you you're the cancer. Forget about the grays and blacks. And forget about the Europeans. They'll call you every fucking name. Anyway, Annika was a sister of Kirkland. Had cancer, she died early. Everyone went to a funeral except for me. And they were blaming me. They were saying, man, if you had stayed alive, this shit would be working in Intel. Used to do grays and blacks, but you also did pink. So you were a phenomenon. The problem is you don't believe in that. You don't believe that females like that should exist. So now you have Disneyland. And now you can show your jealousy to me. With your cheerleading freaks. That's what America, that's what you're famous for. That is why there are that many Dr. Parrots for Schadenfreude Jr. 250. Germany and Poland, England and Italy, everywhere. Washington Nationals, name it. because they think you are with your cheerleaders for Disneyland. After what happened, the losses on the coastlines, even if it's just a blip in time, the pink. You want to know how they made the blues after smashing their head? I told you. My uncle in Poland is the head of sciences at Warsaw University. He's 96. He told me Poland intel is pink, and the other uncle in Russia is grays and blacks, grays on the border, and the same in Egypt and Saudi Arabia, the first uncles. Head of sciences in Cairo University and heads of sciences in Saudi Arabia. These are my families. These are the academicians. These are the deans of sciences. 96 years old. Cancer. Okay? So what you lost on the coastlines is old news on the news, gone with the wind. Connected those four wires to globals in this format. That's old news on the news. It's gone. And no amount of praying, no amount of hitting your head on a wall, no amount of, and then turning around and saying, hate you bitch, Disneyland, pin-up girl, I hate your ass from the coastlines after the Hague and Bureau de Veritas pin-up girl, July 20th, 2021. This is who you are. That's why I don't have pretenses. I'm not that girl. That's it. Okay? And I'm not even the blues. If, after a smashing head on the coastlines, they were capable of creating blues, genetically. And the world as we know it, the blues after the Hague and the post-apocalypse on the coastlines. That's why the generals in Sacramento and the deserts, Arizona and other places, let's not say anymore, on the coastlines and elsewhere, have the white hairs, including Martina Snowdon, as in the bells of St. Martin's, okay, on the coastlines. The heads of schools and sciences in Woolwich. So when they make a pin-up girl, who was the leader on her flyings and runnings, who had her head smashed in on the coastlines, now you know why. In and out, wonderful lunch. Wormhole to worm. I'm not going to explain to the Californians anything, because they don't want to know. As long as they have a PhD, as long as they have a limousine, as long as they have their careers, as long as they look pretty, who gives a shit what happens on your soil of the big shit, right? Whatever you lost. That's why they call me Chechnya by now. In any case, that's old news on the news. So wishful thinking ain't changing it. Sending cycles ain't gonna change it. And they will sue you. For the history on the coastlines, for Disneyland, they will sue you. Because if you lost that shit, that's why they call it history. That's why the Chinese and the UN were speaking about a space phenomenal child who had her head smashed in on the coastlines, who you hate till today with your cheerleaders. Your Forrest Gump, the Greyhound. Okay? Because it's one thing doing connected those four words to globals with the intel, whether it has the white heads or the big heads. They'll look at me and say, oh shit, this is a different girl. You understand that? There's a different girl, another girl, and they'll be polite. Okay? They will, because they know what it is. They know what those losses were. They're not going to be sitting there and flaunting their tits in my ass or speaking about how intelligent they are and ha 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 ha. They don't care. They care for what was lost. They know this is pin-up Disney. And your eyebrows are the only thing she has in common. They don't care whether it's Mossad or no Mossad and all those. Hate your ass. They're mentally retarded. You deserve Disneyland in the US just to show who the fuck your people are. Backward. That's the Schanfurger. That's the psychiatrists of Dr. Parrots. The extra paperwork for me. Other than Dirk Jan van Dam's Hague, the Bureau de Veritas pin-up girl, the ship theater Manhattan the sciences. That's it. What's your pretense? I thought your limousines and your PhD was national security shit, wasn't it? Oh, US, of course it's called celeb. Of course they're going to bring in all the Dr. Parrots and psychiatrists to show what ugly people you are inside. As people. That's why those 80 countries, not 81, sitting there crying for that girl. And even crying for me. Thinking, what kind of fucked up people are they? Well, they're cheerleading fucks. Psychos? Not even rapists? We're not stupid. I have 147-2221 in Disney mode. Shana Coastlines is going to be empty because I'm already dead, the original. I'm a stand-in. I'm a tripod stand-in. Pink and blues, I don't know how to make the blues, quite frankly. Because even if I explained it to you, the ship, the yacht, the pin-up, the falls, the white hairs, the scientists, the airspace, German airspace, speaking about, whoa, what happened with the Hague, and man, there's genetics, they're good at that shit. That's the point in history that you still don't understand. 221 Delft, because you are the best geniuses. There goes Disney. And then you send your cycles. Pointless. Pointless on all levels. That's why they're rubbing it in. Right. That's why I came back as Disneyland for a brief period of time. I'm a timed child. That's why they say you're not human. They treat you like a cat, like a dog. But you're not a cat or dog. You're probably more human than they are. Because they know me. That's what it is to be known, even if you don't know how, because you're not intelligent enough. Technically speaking, that's what it is. In any case, with this humble pie shit, ever since the accident of Diana, we call that an accident, careening from China, so science is elsewhere, it's not Fresno. The parents are born in pioneer camps. I will repeat this. Pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. Pioneer champions in all sports at very young ages. At the age of 5 or 6, she moves to Warsaw, he moves to Cairo. Norilsk and Piasecz. Norilsk is Turk, Piasecz is Russian. Okay? His mother is Turk. His father is Saudi Arab. That's it. Mama is Russian with some Polish. That's it. Is that it? You get the idea here. Think of Oriental. I became exotic. The most. And I will keep repeating this until you understand what the US is. They lost their own shit. On the mountains, no. Beyond the library. Because there was a lot of runnings. That girl was somewhere else. Then there was the runnings on the hills that many of times. And you could see it. You could see that girl was going to have her head smashed in on the coastlines. You didn't care. You're criminals on your own soil. Then you blame the scientists for leaving in mass with that girl, the mermaid. You are not a country. Unusual. Anomaly. Weird. Strange. And that's why they call you losers. That's why the people cheering in London, in Warsaw, in Berlin. It's a winning. They are fucking retarded American. Oh shit. Do you know how much paperwork for all that shit on the coastlines? Don't they even have cheerleaders for Disneyland because they're fucking retarded? US, you realize what this actually is? Or not? Do you want to? Make it even so famous, that beyond famous and known, that I don't even know what to say. Disneyland doesn't know what to say anymore. Stuck in the zoo by now. The accident of Diana, then become Camilla or what has. A change of intelligence from here to Ashley. Ooh, Ashley. That's not even mentioning the parents of Fresno. Okay? The directorates of humanitarian relief services. Austro. We came to TCR a few years before we retired. Mostly Austro. 25 years. Directorates of Austro. CRAs. Other UN projects. All D1s. D2s, D1s. Bigger than the Director General. Oh. Keep them as D1s, saving the planet in helicopters. All over Africa, all over Asia, all over South America, and Iraq only a few times. Shot for June. I guess it's shimmer. Takes Disneyland out that show on the coastline to point out to you what all this is about. You can be sitting there and still fucking judging this shit and sticking what? Did I need a counselor? For sure. Did I'm with the intel communities all the time? For sure. But if you send your psychos and your cheerleaders, like that, they're not going to even waste their time on that shit. That's why there was Dr. Barris and Simon the Order since the day I was 5 years old. In mass. Up my ass. Other than the scientists looking at me like this with white hairs, all the people and CEOs looking at this little Disney. Then, man, you were a phenomenon. Mademoiselle Disney, by now you're Disney. genetic. At the age of 5. In the UN and London and in other countries, connected those who West robots. That's a factoid. I'm going to use the word factoid by now. Jesus. It's the end of the world as we know it. They're making genetics after the Hague. Well, yeah. Technically, yeah. You can say that by now. Even in pink. The living in the house. Living in the house with all those fucking psycho stalkers. Or my literal crawlies. Coming out from nowhere. Federal prisoners from LA who were born in Fresno. Thinking that they're psychs. Psychs where? Sonia Rocha and Jennifer Segura were prison guards for Tom and Jerry Diretals. He doesn't even have a federal prison over that. It's a county level. It's not even a fucking state. He's trying his best. Look, you run a town where this shit happens, you know about his privates, you know about the nurses, you know about the hospital, you know about the nursing homes, you know about the shootouts, you know about the crazies, you know about everything. You know about Van Ness Avenue, the version of Fresno. With its limousines, and 85% of Fresno being in fucking abject poverty. Tell me who hasn't fucking heard about Fresno's county intelligence version of their own around the capital cities of the planet. You deny the shit on the Ghost Lines, you hate Disneyland pinup, you can't fix this shit, let alone whittle it. You wonder why they sent Disneyland out? There's a trained poodle in the house? The Tasmanian devil living the radio that was invented 250 years ago. After the accident on the Ghost Lines. It's called that fucking accident. Now you have the paperwork of Dirk Van Dam and all the others. And for the Schadenfreude Jr. Dr. Parrot's extras. With this greyhound following crazies. Who hate my ass in my opinion. Because the intel is the intel. They'll follow me. The FBI will follow me because they know what this is about. Because they know what they lost. They know the paperwork, and they know that, and they know about the ship, they know the Manhattan Project of the 21st century. They know what they lost on the Ghost Lines. They're not going to deny it. They see the others doing the Greyhounds with me. They'll be like, why are they following her? If they're homeless trying to find a home, that's something else. But if they're federal prisoner from San Quentin, born in Fresno, and you're sitting there trying to do some psych shit on her, we'll do the psych shit on you. We'll do the psych ops on you. From Poland, from Russia, from Egypt, from Saudi Arabia, from Italy, from Germany, from Poland, and from England. With all the fucking Dr. Parrots on the planet. Up your fucking ass. Not mine. You crazy fucks. Do your fucking jobs. Because I did mine. I did all those flyings. And it was peace on the coastlines. And I did all those motherfucking runnings on the hills. That many motherfucking times the whole fucking world saw that. Now what am I doing? The crawlies, little crawlies, after your accident on the coastlines, while you're doing your fucking PhDs and you can't fucking reopen that shit. This is the reality of Delft, of Disneyland. This is the pain I had to endure. For the parents of Fresno, for the shit on the Ghost Lines, for the knowledge of what was lost on the Ghost Lines, with all that paperwork, for a pin-up for a short period of time. A time baby in Disney mode. For Delft. Because you don't want to use your heads. You're just assholes. And your girlfriends are assholes as well. Together with your cheerleaders. Because you have no fucking clue. Either you have no fucking clue what happened on your coastlines, or you're just assholes. In other countries, they're looking at the losses of the big intel of July 22-1 from the greys and blacks and pinks and all the sciences on your coastlines, Manhattan Project of the 21st century after the Hague. And those scientists and the ship living with her, and you'd be sitting there and saying to me, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I got a PhD. Now, I even have no prize. Look at my publishings. Look how much I've published. Look how many articles I've published. Then why don't you fucking fix that shit on the Ghost Lines? With all those flyings on the mountains beyond. All those runnings on those hills. That many motherfucking times. And then all of a sudden you bring back Disneyland from the Ghost Lines and you're sitting there patting yourself on the ass saying to me that you're Mother Teresa of Calcutta. You don't even fucking qualify for you know what. And then you take it out on Disneyland with a trained poodle in the house with all the sports and everything else. Ticks and all. I'm not even the blues if the blues exist end of the world genetics after I smashed in head on the Ghost Lines. You must have been a fucking genius, mademoiselles. I am not that girl. I'm not even the blues. Connect the dots for wise to globals. That's all news on the news. Get alive. Do something in the world that will change the world for the better with their jobs or for the worse if you lose the sciences. Do something yourself rather than cheerleading faggots and assholes and their girlfriends. Hey, psychops, Dr. Barrett and others, what do you think? Should we stay and run for retirements? With Roger Globe and Scotland from, after all, the time baby of Disneyland. Peanut girl. It's gonna just come in and out for a split second, delve 2 to 1. Now you know who the losers are. You are, in the US, on the Ghost Lines. And you're still trying to fix that shit, whittle that shit. You know you can't. That's why you hate me. And that's why you hate the Barons or retirements of Fresno. You're animals. People know this about you. They know Disneyland was stuck in between all of that with all those masses that many times on our call list, so you can feel special about yourselves. You realize how bad that looks in the eyes of the masses in all those capital cities, so that Fresno can keep its tits and ass, intelligence version of itself. Who gained, who lost, who's gaining, and who's losing? And let me put it this way. The coastline ship, you know why it's getting emptier? Because of the amount of times that the intel was sent to the coastlines where she was. It eventually cracked. And when it cracked and that ship of scientists left with her, the Manhattan Project of the 21st century, it continued without me. That's why they call me the pin-up girl. With the corporations and with others. That's why when you kill, it's easy. It's easy to be a bully. It's extremely easy to be a bully, but it's extremely difficult to be that intelligent. And it's extremely difficult to have a ship that would do anything for you. But it happened. Because they're intelligent enough to see what the fuck you really are as people. Ugly. Inside, and quite frankly, even outside. Once you take off the makeup, and all your embellishments. So now that you see that Disneyland was capable in 81 countries to connect the dots for wise to rebels as a stand-in, get out of Fresno, show the extras of don't give a shit, have sex with a knife, go ahead, they'll get rid of you anyway. Follow me, they'll do the same. And that's it. For the father and the mother in Fresno, he had an injection in the lower part of the stomach at the age of almost 76. She was taken out at 80 to Poland to Russia with the rule of law, cleanest record in the history of the Eastern Bloc. Delicate, weaker, older. After 4 years. Colin Hale said, listen, they have to give you a fucking answer, otherwise what the fuck? So, in January, February of 2017, I ran out of Fresno and I went abroad, East Coast abroad. London, Warsaw, Moscow, and East Coast. 3 months, and then San Francisco. We know why. And then 5 times to Moscow, 17, 18, 19, 20, Warsaw Internationals, London. King Abbasid, who is one of the sheikhs or kings in Saudi Arabia, has 4 PhDs in NASA, and he bought the entire Szymański neighborhood in Warsaw. Gentlemen. Unfortunately, we didn't see the mother. That Piłsudski moment at the height of the dislike of Russia. With the Ukraine war and everything else. And she went through the rule of law with Akshay 13, their version of Peggy Sue with the red hair, who talked to me for an hour and a half, 2020-21, and that she has the cleanest record in the Eastern Bloc, and she was taken to Moscow. I know because I saw Polish syrup for the cough, expiration date September 2018 in her bag from Kangoo. Kangoo was full of Dutch and internationals in Warsaw, in Ursinov. That's where I had the storage. And and empty. It was in her purse. And it was Polish. She didn't have Polish syrup in Fresno. So I know, and when I went to Moscow, the 5 times, they were going nuts. They were going nuts for the father and the mother. Why? Because they know who they are. The masses. And they know who the fuck Fresno is. The heightened beauty of Fresno. So after smashing my head original on the Ghost Lines and bringing me back as Disneyland, whose only likelihood to the original, physically at least, is the eyebrows, shows to you how nice you are. Disney. If they made blues, as the Germans claim, even my enemies, itsy bitsy teeny weird shit. That's so fucked up. Space second of this. After the Hague. What a phenomena. Should be up about the project organization. That's all over Germany. That's all news on the news, the nails. Gone with the wind long ago, worldwide to globals. That's why they're rubbing it into you. You don't have that science. With your PhDs. Look at me, what I published. Now you see what ugly is. And what butt ugly is. It's a reflect on you. Understand? Good. So now you know why there's Radio Globo and Scott Glenn film as a sidekick for Disneyland. And stop making comparisons for the stand-in child. Because absolutely pointless. Careening from China on your Ghost Lines. That's all news on the news. So the pretenses are completely yours. Cheerleaders are useless. You don't listen. You know, like when you have a retarded 5-year-old in yours and it hears the shit, you know, it's like, yuck. That's you in the US. That's how bad you get. And you speak about being so intelligent. And what? Buying off sciences from Germany, Russia, Saudi Arabia, China, and the UN. And then eventually, after all the flyers, all the rallies, how many times, smashing the girl's head on the Ghost Lines. I'm saying, hey, one of the leaves with the others left, but not approach whatever says shit. They were even corporate. Shit. You could say shit now. Yeah. There it goes. Old news on the news, gone with the wind. Pin up. They made a pin up out of that girl. I'm the pin up. I'm Disney. Genetically speaking. Do you understand that now? Or not? Still thick as shit. That if you smash somebody's head on the Ghost Lines, you still have a hole in the wall with white hairs. Thick as shit. Now that's why they called you cheapos. So, after having shown your psychos and your stalkers, even for Disneyland Greyhound, with all the 250 Dr. Barretts that I had to endure throughout my life, including in Berlin and Poland and Wolves International, London and in Italy, speaking about Shanford Jr. and all the fuck shit that Disney had to be put through. Oh shit. Not even mentioning shit on the Ghost Line. Oh no, that's the sound, so shit. So connect to those vertical balls on this format. And the Barrett? There's another Galaxy dictionary for you, darling, but now, and what about the blues that came out of the coastlines? Well, they didn't actually come out of the coastlines, they came out from somewhere else. It's the end of the world as we know it. So the Hague. Those geniuses are making. Pig? Huh. Wow! Hey, listen, it's, you can't be doing that shit with culo de vari. Listen, religions. Look, I saw Saturday night, I came back on the Ghost Lines, it's designed. Can we tell them about the space tech and the genetics? What a genius. There goes me, eating humble pie and shit in Disney mode so you can feel as woman in the US. What you hated on the cruise lines cannot come back. It's not the same person. No, thick as shit. And stop sending me your crazies. Because quite frankly, I don't deserve that shit. No. As I was saying, John Benetton. Jean Benet. Always John Bennett. Giovanni. Bene, fate bene fratelli, ma vaffanculo, ma va, da fuck, ma yeah. And when they say Roman, but I get gas. You were born in Rome. Think of the partisans. Oh, no. You're going to stick in the communist? It's just nuts. It's flaming, and not just for Disneyland. Did they send after Disneyland after all that shit? Oh, come on. I told you there was a ship for that girl. She was the leader. I'm not exactly a leader anymore, am I? Ugh, che format. Anyway, standing. So Crab was serious after the head smashed on the ghost lines because she was taking in all the pain for the father and the mother in Fresno. Okay. And it was important. Very important. For both parents. And, of course, Crab eventually became Crab. That's it. That's my story. And in just mode, it's Disney. Now, if you get offended by Disneyland at the age of 5 in kindergarten, go shove it. Now, you ass. Death, the number of the death, this, death, that. It came out, what? Even came back. Oh, come on. You explain that to them. What would the cheerleaders? So now you know why they find it unusual. They found it unusual that you could see it careening from the other side of China on the ghost lines and those laws. They find it unusual. The cheerleaders find everything fucking unusual. Copinos. And that's why I'm mentioning Fresno for the barracks or retirements with those tits and ass. Hospital, the nursing home, this, that, Tom and Jerry. I was his buddy, his friend, look at me. And now, again, I'll repeat why Havana 696969 is all over the world on my crab to grabby the masses. I said, keep whether it's the license plates or the t-shirts or the cement trucks or the cats and dogs, the birds, the zoo, the whole shit. Don't matter. Going around circles. I have been put through all of that with the masses that many times on my crawlies and little crawlies. After that accident on the ghost lines with the masses and all those capital cities. You keep your fucking mouth shut in Fresno. Shut up and go to fucking federal prison in San Quentin. If that means the fucking mayor of the town or the sheriff of a small county called Fresno. And your buddies and your girlfriends and your wingman. You are the one who caused that shit on the coastlines, because if it hadn't been that many flies and runnings, that shit wouldn't have cracked on the coastlines. And you know fucking sciences in Fresno. No fucking anything in Fresno. You're just people who are evil, bad. And now, when people say, horse, bitches, and they start to shit, and then they show, look, even a horse from Fresno. Why? Why are doctors and nurses saying that about you? Look, Bobby's doing that. What is this? Siding with that shit on the coastlines. What is this? I hear that from professional doctors and nurses in England and Germany and Italy and in Poland. For me alone, that's not even mentioning the parents of Fresno. I can't even take a breather for fucking pig ass for a split second as a tiny baby, a particular corn cob as a replacement child, a tiny baby, until you fucking get your head out of your ass. Your ass. Your own achievements in life, your own losses when you die. Hague style in the Society of Sciences. Because of the dark mission. Well, actually, a little bit on. And that's the old news on the news. That's not even mentioning Bob and Mom and Fresno. Injection in the lower part of the stomach. At the age of almost 76. Oh, fucking shit. Nuts. The mother taken with a fake obituary to Poland to Russia. Entire Russia going nuts for the father and the mother. The Russian Orthodox Church sitting down saying, what was it, Sagres Anti-Dio? Yeah, nigga, July 22-1. You phenomenon. Disneyland. Throwing more water on me than I've never seen in the face of the history of that. I didn't even have time to shit, piss, or fart on the flies and running. You're speaking about being female. Shit, I'll send you out fucking Disneyland to show you what a fucking female is. I'll just smash the head of the coastline and my hands and brush her 21st century pin-up girl. The hell? That's what you're nuts! You're fucking nuts! And you're sending your cycles. Go ahead. You're sticking the knives in my face. Go ahead. With your cycle stalkers and cheerleaders. And we're watching. What are you getting out of this? Look at your own fucking lives. What they mean. Whether they're alive or dead. Do something positive in society rather than being a bunch of assholes and bitches and hoes. Use your fucking brains for once in your fucking life, US. See what the fuck you lost on the coastlines. Admit it. Not that you bring back after the Hague the pin-up girl and you're happy about that shit. That's not even mentioning the poor father and the poor mother in Fresno retirement. Look at you in Fresno. Takes Disneyland to tell you that. Why? Because the whole fucking world is saying it in unison about you in Fresno. And I'm sure that within the United States, there are people and intel that have enough brains and are not fucking assholes like you. Goodbye. I've said this a million times in Cacofonia in this format by now. Zudel Katsu. Goodbye.